Fever's inexplicable season ends one game shy of finals despite injuries. It's a special story. Las Vegas. In a year of season-ending injuries, hardship players, and constant roster adjustments, the Indiana Fever had a kind of season that nobody expected. One that included a run to a decisive Game 5 in the WNBA semifinals. That incredible, unexpected, inexplicable season came to an end with a 107-98 overtime loss to the Las Vegas Aces on Tuesday night. They have been an absolute joy to coach, Fever coach Stephanie White said. It's an incredible group of women, an incredibly connected group. They're a great example to everybody of what it means to just put one foot in front of the other, to persevere, to welcome people into the fold, to not give in to circumstance, to lead with grace and dignity. Could the Fever have beaten the Aces if Kelsey Mitchell didn't go down with extreme cramping in the middle of the third quarter? Or if Aaliyah Boston didn't foul out with 26 seconds left in the game, making her ineligible for the overtime period? Sure, maybe. But half of winning a series, winning a championship even, is about luck. And the Fever haven't been lucky at all this season. Indiana had 5 season-ending injuries between July and August, starting with Caitlin Clark, right groin. On July 15th, Sydney Colson, left ACL, and Ari McDonald, right foot. On August 7th, Sophie Cunningham, left MCL. On August 17th, and Chloe Bibby, left knee. On August 22nd. Then, Damiris Dantas suffered a concussion September 11th that ended up rendering her unavailable for the entirety of the 8-game playoff run. The Fever had 4 players on hardship contracts, all of whom joined the team between August and September. They were thrown into the fire, expected to perform at a high level with just 1 or 2 days to learn the playbook. And they did. I'm super proud just to be a part of this group. We came a long way, Odyssey Sims, who joined the team August 10th on a hardship contract, said. We beat the odds, we weren't even supposed to be here. And for us to be here, we finished out strong. It wasn't the outcome we wanted. Lexi Hull played through a back injury for 5 games. Mitchell has been hurting since August, and she became so dehydrated Tuesday night that she had to lean onto a referee for support, then go to the hospital for fluids. But the Fever, as resilient as they have been this season, fought through that bad luck. It started in May even when Clark suffered her first injury. It continued in June with Clark's second injury, then in July when she suffered the injury that ultimately put her out for the season. Then again multiple times in August. Again in September. Again Tuesday night, when without their top 2 players, they pushed a decisive Game 5 into overtime. It's just so unlucky that had to happen tonight, Hull said. Just for us to be able to continue to bounce back and still fight, close out a game against the Aces, for us to be able to put out the performance we did tonight and send it to overtime, that's something to be proud of. It was a type of season that nobody, even the Fever, thought was going to happen. They were playing with house money from the beginning of the playoffs, and they still pushed through, backs against the wall, 3 straight elimination games to put the number 2 Aces on the brink of going home themselves. Those injuries, those bouts of bad luck brought the Fever closer together, allowed them to play as a unit. It gave them something to fight for. This Fever team, especially with collective bargaining agreement negotiations looming, isn't going to be the same in 2026. And this is a group the coaching staff will remember. I've experienced some special teams in this league, in this organization, but collectively, this group has been at the top, White said. I'm extremely grateful for every single one of them. We know this is going to be an off-season full of change in the league, but what these women accomplished together, it's a special story. For a few dizzying weeks, the Indiana Fever looked like a team that had no business listening to reason. Logic said their season should have ended months earlier, buried under a mountain of injuries and inexperience. But somehow, improbably, the Fever kept surviving, clawing their way into the postseason and charging to within a single game of the WNBA Finals. It wasn't supposed to be possible. Not yet. The weight of injuries. The Fever's roster was more a medical report than a lineup card for much of the summer. Key rotation players sat in sweats, nursing knees and ankles. Lineups shifted nightly. What should have been the foundation of growth in a rebuilding year looked like quicksand. Every time Indiana found rhythm, another setback arrived. But instead of folding, the Fever turned brittle circumstances into fuel. Veterans pushed harder. Youngsters who weren't supposed to see heavy minutes became nightly contributors. And the glue that held it together was belief that they could write a story bigger than their limitations. Aaliyah Boston and the spark. At the center of it all was Aaliyah Boston, the young franchise cornerstone who proved why the Fever chose her as their future. In only her second season, she showed maturity far beyond her years, anchoring the paint with poise and lifting teammates when the pressure turned suffocating. But Boston wasn't alone. Kelsey Mitchell's relentless scoring became the Fever's heartbeat. Grace Berger, once a quiet rookie, grew into a reliable spark. And role players, often overlooked, played minutes that felt oversized, delivering hustle stats that never made the highlight reels but changed games nonetheless. They weren't supposed to have enough. Somehow, they kept finding just enough. The playoff surge. By the time the postseason arrived, the Fever were running on adrenaline and patched lineups. But something magical happened. The team that had been dismissed as not ready started playing like they had nothing to lose. They out-hustled, outworked, and outright stunned higher seeds. Suddenly, Indiana wasn't just the underdog. They were the team nobody wanted to face. Their energy was contagious, their defense suffocating. And each improbable win tightened the bond inside the locker room. The finals dream was real. 1 game away. The wall arrives. And then the magic ran thin. In the decisive game that would have punched their ticket to the finals, the Fever's flaws finally caught up with them. Boston faced relentless double teams. The offense sputtered when Mitchell went cold. And the toll of heavy minutes on a short rotation showed in the fourth quarter. They lost. Just 1 game shy. But the story doesn't end in disappointment. It lingers in pride. It's a special story. Afterward, players and coaches weren't speaking in broken tones. They were smiling, even through tears. It's a special story, one said, and it rang true. Because this season wasn't about winning it all. It was about showing they could. It was about proving that even with bodies sidelined and odds stacked, Indiana had the heart, the foundation, and the future to believe in again.